Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with Cami. This is Cami Wanis, the Freedom Scholar here. I am super excited because we're going to talk about something that doesn't get talked about a lot today. We're going to talk about how you can homeschool on a budget. Did you know that it doesn't have to cost a lot to homeschool? It can, absolutely, but it doesn't have to. So we're going to talk about that today. We're in our weekly live every Thursday at noon Pacific time. I go live and I talk about all things homeschooling. We have a topic every single week. And so you are invited to join us, not only live, and you can ask questions, you can have comments, and I love to chat with you guys. If you're just popping on right now, go ahead and say a little hello in the comments. We are live in our Facebook page. We are live in our Facebook group, the Freedom Scholar Homeschooling Community, and we are also live on YouTube. This is super exciting. I'm just going to check and make sure that I'm live real quick. Like I said, if you're just popping on, go ahead and say a little hello in the comments, and that way I know that you're there. If you are in our Facebook group, you definitely want to make sure that you are, it doesn't say that I'm live. Let's see. That's a little strange. Are we there? Are we there? Oh, there we are. Okay, that's perfect. Awesome. So if you are in our Facebook group, just know that it will ask you using StreamYard here. It will ask you to have permission to give your name in the comments. So if you're commenting and you're in our Facebook group, you want to give StreamYard permission to go ahead and show that you're on here and show your name. That way I know who you are and I can chat with you. If you're in our YouTube channel, you can definitely go to our live tab and rewatch all the lives that we've done so far. In our guides tab in the Facebook group, that's where you'll find all our past lives. And it is going to be super fun. We're going to talk about budget saving tips. Let me just make sure I am going to tag some people here so that we are ready to go. How to homeschool on a small budget. On a dime, really, right? Oh my gosh. This is really great. We are going to have all kinds of ideas and strategies and tips for you today. This is going to be super exciting. Let me make sure that I am live really quick there we go. In YouTube, we are live. Awesome. That sounds good. Okay, so we are good to go, you guys. I'm super excited. I know that there's going to be several people watching on the replay today. Also, we have replays on our vlog on our website, thefreedomscholar.com, and they're going to be uploaded after we finish our lives. So today, I wanted to give one quick announcement. If you're just popping on, go ahead and say a little hello in the comments because we love to chat with you. And I want to know what you guys already do to save money for homeschooling in terms of how do you find cheap and free resources. That's what we're going to talk about today, cheap and free resources, okay? So, but before we get started, I want to announce that we're starting a podcast show. Oh my gosh, next month we're starting a podcast show. It's going to be super amazing. And I'm really, really excited about it. I've been working hard on it. And we are going to have a special guest to record live next week on our Live with Cami. And he's going to share with us a homeschool success story that's going to blow your mind. I'm super excited. So today we're going to be talking about homeschool budgeting, how to find cheap and free resources, and how you can make sure that homeschooling doesn't actually have to cost a lot, right? And so today I want to give you a lot of ideas in terms of big picture, and then I'm going to give you some strategies as well, some actual resources to look up, okay? So I'm going to be giving you both of those things. And the reason why is because there are some big picture ideas. I want you to think a little differently. That's kind of my jam. There's tons of places that you can just Google and look up resources or whatever. It's not that hard, but the thinking behind it is what's necessary to create a successful homeschool experience. So that's what I really want you to focus on is the thinking, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to change your thinking in terms of homeschooling costing a lot. It doesn't have to cost a lot. Again, if you are just popping on, go ahead and say a little hello in the comments. I want to make sure that you are with us today and that I can definitely get some other ideas because you guys are awesome. You guys have a great experience in terms of getting free and cheap resources. So put them in the comments. Let's share with each other on that. And then, so the first thing I want to talk about today, we're going to talk about six different big topics. The first thing is getting your family resources and your family budget in order. And what I mean is there's lots of places, virtually everyone can come up with somewhere where they can save $5, they can save $10 a month, they can save whatever. They're spending money in some place that's not necessary that you can put towards homeschooling. Okay. So think of it as an investment. Again, the thinking, right? We want to think about the thinking mindset, the investment that we are spending or we're investing, I should say, not spending, because there's a difference, right? So we're investing in our kids' future. And we are, so what are the things? Get your home family budget in order. And I want to make sure also that you think about one of the members of our Facebook group. He said earlier today, he's a homeschooling dad, and he said, man, eating out chews up a lot of money. And it's totally true. There was a time before my husband and I had kids that we ate out a lot. There was just like, I don't know, like a year where we ate out almost it was a ridiculous amount a week. It was insane for no reason other than we could. And so and then we looked at how much we were spending a month on eating out, and it was ridiculous. And we hardly eat out anymore at all. It's very, very rare, not just for budgeting purposes. That's just a benefit, but also because we have dietary restrictions in it. We're required to, but it saves us so much money, and we can control our food quality, which is really great because restaurant food typically isn't that amazing in terms of quality. So look at your family budget, get your family budget in order, really get, specific on that stuff. There's tons of resources that can help you with that. And then number two is simplicity, not complexity. So think about this. This is a principle that comes from Thomas Jefferson education. It's a philosophy, methodology of homeschooling, of education in general. And simplicity, not complexity, is really important because you think about, you don't have to have a lot of stuff. It's about quality, not quantity, right? There are books in every room of my house. Every room except for the bathrooms. And who knows, sometimes there too, right? But there are books in every single room of our house. But that did not happen overnight. That wasn't a one-time thing. That wasn't just we went out and bought a bunch of books. We've been collecting books for years and years and years. And we actually go through and we purge books as well on a yearly basis, sometimes even twice a year. We really do go through and we have a lot of books, but that's a priority in our life, right? We have teaching materials, we have manipulatives, we have curriculum, we have all kinds of things that help us, but it's something we've accumulated over time, and we don't crowd our house with it. If it's not serving us, it's out the door, man. So it's really important that you get in control of thinking about simplicity, not complexity. You don't have to have a lot of things. There's so many awesome curriculums and so many awesome manipulatives and tools and educational subscriptions and whatnots and all the, the boxes that come that you can build kits with and art this and classes and all that stuff. There's so many awesome things, but you don't have to have them all in order to have a great education. Okay? You really don't. And so you want to think about in terms of great versus good, right? What are the priorities and what is the most bang for your buck, right? That's what you want to think about. So simplicity, not complexity. If your house is full of stuff, your kids are going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be overwhelmed, and they're not going to use any of it. If you think about, and I use this as an example sometimes in our Homeschool Success Club, but thinking about in terms of Little House on the Prairie and things like that, where they didn't actually have a lot of stuff at all. They had like 3 to 5 books, like for the whole family. Like that's all they had. And that was like that was their, whole education, really. I mean, in terms of book education, right? But it's so important to think about how much education and how much more education they had than a lot of our kids today do, because they just utilized it better, right? So think about that. Quality, not quantity. Simplicity, not complexity. That's number two. Okay. So number three, what do you guys think about this? Is that working for you? Is that like hitting a bone? Is it a little bit like, oh, that hurts my heart a little? Sometimes that might happen because you're like, man, I know I need to do that, but whoo, we just haven't gotten around to that. So let me know in the comments. Let me know. Give me some more ideas. What are you guys' best money saving tips, right? And then three, utilize your community around you. You guys have a community around you. Always. I don't care who you are. I've even seen people who, say on they say I'm in the, we're in the military, we move around all the time. We don't have a community. Yeah, you do. You always have a community. It's whether you access this or not is up to you. So, excuse me. So, your community, family, friends, think about their expertise. Everybody's good at something. What are they good at? What can they help you teach your kids? How can they help you with resources? Not in terms of finances necessarily, but in terms of what do they have in their house that your kids can learn from? What do they have in their workplace that your kids can learn from? I know my brother-in-law is an aeronautic engineer. He worked for SpaceX and Virgin Galactic and some startups. Now he's working on like some like pilotless airplane or something. He worked for the Sikorsky, the big helicopter company. But what's so cool is when we've gotten the opportunity to go down to visit his workplace and see all of the huge machinery and the huge, all the fact that they were running like satellite launches and rocket launches from this little closet in their office with like 3 laptops and 3 20-year-olds. That's insane to me. But what an amazing experience, right? What an awesome experience. What he gets to, we got to see the Virgin Galactic airplane though, and just that carries the rocket, or I don't even remember what it does, but it's pretty amazing. We got to see all that kind of stuff. Like, it was so cool. So utilizing those kind of resources. My husband teaches Lego robotics and STEM in middle school, and so he brings home stuff all the time, and my son's like totally plays with Lego robots and builds stuff and learns how to do everything and does the competitions. And my mom is a aquatics instructor. She's a retired PE teacher. She teaches him all kinds of things about physical education, about, when he was little, she would come over and do how to run, how to skip, how to jump rope, how to, like all of these cool things that you would not normally get access to. My mom's a great resource for that. My dad is an Eagle Scout. He's a retired Navy veteran. He is a retired PA as well, a physician assistant. So he teaches them a lot about medicine and the body and how, the anatomy and things like that. So all that stuff is super cool. Take advantage of your friends and family. My best friend has so many animals, you guys. She has so many animals. Horses and chickens and cats and dogs and darn near about everything. And so we get to go and like play with animals. They were raising rabbits for a while. They had we get to learn about all kinds of things and how to take care of animals and, get to experience them. And I don't have to clean them up, which is exciting. So you guys take advantage of this stuff. Even if you don't have friends and family around, though, you do have. Oh, and by the way, your neighbors, take advantage of your neighbors. And not in a bad way, of course, but utilize their expertise. I have one neighbor who she's Jewish and her husband is Christian. And so I don't know how we got on the topic, but somehow we got on the topic of Hanukkah. And I didn't know that much about Hanukkah. I still don't really know a whole heck of a lot about Hanukkah, but I was like, it would be cool if, you could just share maybe some, during Christmas time, you could share, about Hanukkah, and she's like, "Oh, I would totally love that. He could come over, we could light a candle, we could say the prayer, I could show him, the history." I was like, just explain like the history and stuff, and like what the ideas are, and how that come about and what it celebrates, and so we did this whole thing with her. It was amazing. It was awesome. Absolutely love it. So again, neighbors, family, friends. Then how about your community leaders? Your community leaders, your city council, your parks and rec department. Your Lots of times your parks and rec department will put on activities for kids all the time. Like in the park, they'll put on like, one day it was many years ago, but we had a rocket like launching day, or I don't even remember what the whole theme was, but they got to launch rockets. It was like space themed. They got to learn. There were all these booths set up about different things in maybe it was just in general, like learning about space. I don't remember, but whatever the case, it was super fun. And so they got to learn about all kinds of things. There were other days that the city puts on. Some of the city events and activities are really through your community are really cheap that the city puts on. So, sign them up for tennis lessons, sign them up for a, chess club. We are actually starting in our city a chess club that's free. So, start looking into that. Just get involved and look at what's in your community. Also, take advantage of your librarians. Oh, by the way, in terms of community leaders, your city council, your mayor, do you know if you call them up and make appointments with them or email them, they will be happy to set aside some time to have you and maybe even a little homeschool group come around and show them around City Hall and explain what they do and all this. We've done that. We've done that. It's pretty fun. So it's pretty great. And on those lines, guess who also does that? Typically, your police station and your fire station will do tours as well. They'll do them for just you if you want to, most of the time, but you and your kids. But they will also put together, if you want to put together a little small group, as long as they're not, obviously they have to go out on call if they need to. But if they don't, they'll schedule it around their trainings or their downtime or whatever, and they'll just totally take them all the way through. It's so amazing, you guys. It's super fun. Oh my gosh. So then look at also the library. Librarians are very undervalued. Those people know a lot of things about a lot of things. They really, really, really have a lot of resources and knowledge about what's in the area, about all kinds of resources, not just in the library, but also outside. So take advantage of your librarians and ask them questions, ask them for resources, ask them, does this go on? And so many events happen at the library, like story time, like chess clubs, like book clubs, and lots of art activities and fun, really cool things. So lots of things happen at the library. You want to take advantage of that. How about other homeschooling parents or just parents in general? Talk to other parents, find out other resources that they're using, and then you tap into that. Okay. Music halls and museums. So concert halls, oftentimes there are organizations that will give free tickets. In fact, this week, hopefully we're actually going to be going to 2 free concerts that are put on by Festival Napa Valley, and they have a 2-week thing, and there's lots of paid stuff, but we always go to the free ones. And then there's there's so many cool things. There's a big a concert event center, concert hall, where they put on a lot of concerts and stuff up in music events in a nearby town that we live by. And they have free events that happen for kids all the time. They have ones where you could go, we've gone to before, that they do a little thing on the different kinds of instruments, what they sound like, why they sound that way, and what they're used for. And then like even have kids are able to like use them, like blow in them and like see what they sound like and try them out. It's so fun, you guys. It's really cool. So museums, they often have a homeschool day. They'll often have homeschool events or group rates. So you can take advantage of those. And we have in our library system, we have a special system called Discover and Go, where you can actually, if you have a library card, you can go on their website and you can get free tickets or very cheap tickets for virtually everything in our area. So in terms of museums and different like nature centers and things like that. So it's really, really cool. So check out that stuff. And then also make sure that you are looking for, in terms of group rates and things like that, you're creating that yourself. So you can just, you have to be a little forward. You have to ask, right? They're not going to pop up on your doorstep necessarily. You have to ask. But if you call places, a lot of places, and that's one of my other tips, is you create the community or event. This is number 4. You create the community or event. You create put it out there in your kids' activities or your neighbors or whatever, in your groups, and say, hey, we're homeschooling. We'd love to get together and maybe we could do an art project together, or maybe we could go to the park and go to a hike, or maybe we could, put together a group and go to the police station together and do a tour. Whatever the case, you put it together. You got to get outside your comfort zone a little bit sometimes, but you'll be amazed at what happens. We actually put together a group rate for a wildlife center. It's actually an exotic wildlife center that's very expensive to get into. Like, I'm talking like it's like almost $100 a ticket or something like that. And we were able to, maybe 75. I don't know. It's really expensive. And that's why we've never gone there, but we've always wanted to. They have like giraffes and like lions and like antelope, and it's crazy. It's amazing. It's very cool. But I've always wanted to go there. We even lived nearby there for a while and we never went. But we put together a homeschool group rate and we were able to go for like $25 a person. It was amazing. It was amazing. And they'll usually have a limit on, like, you have to have a certain number of people go with you to fill the spots or whatever. And that's fine. Just fill the spots, right? Put it out there. Put it out there. And so you create the homeschool event. Also, number 5 is media. Okay. So think about media. What kinds of media can you get for free? Well, you can get, if you have Amazon Prime, you get lots of Amazon stuff for free. There's YouTube. Hello, use YouTube all the time. It's great, great, great. There's so much stuff on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I mean, come on. I mean, really, there's so much great stuff on YouTube. Okay, so, and then Amazon Music, there's lots of free stuff in terms of documentaries and things like that you can utilize. And then also your library. Check out your library for that stuff too, because they'll have like CDs and stuff like that you can get that are like compilations of music or art or books or anything like that too, which is really cool. And so number 6, the last one, you guys, we're at the last one. Tell me if this is helping you. Give me a little heart, give me a little comments, because I want to know if this is something that is resonating with you right now. I want to hear your tips as well. Okay. So here's the last one. Remember, this is a big one. This is a big one, you guys. Huge. These are my 2 mantras. These are the things that I say all the time. What do I say? Learning happens everywhere all the time. And homeschooling is learning through life. These 2 things, if you can get those 2 things in your mind, it will change your whole world. Because how much do you do every day that's learning? That's homeschooling. You go to the grocery store, homeschooling. Hello, it's free. Okay, well, maybe not free when you check out, but we got to go to the grocery store anyways, right? So all that stuff is free learning experiences. So utilize those things when you are homeschooling. Think about homeschooling happens everywhere. Homeschooling is learning through life. I'm mixing up now. And learning happens everywhere all the time. And so think about when you're outside, when you're gardening, when you're doing yard work, when you're doing the laundry, when you're baking, when you're cooking, when you're doing your studies, when you're like cleaning the car, you're like doing car maintenance, you're going, like I said, to the grocery store, you're doing your daily activities. What are those? Driving a car? What are the things you could be doing? Also, podcasts. Hello, podcasts are awesome. Kids love podcasts. And books, audiobooks are great. Great, great, great. Audiobooks are awesome. So what are the things that you're already doing all the time that are homeschooling? Write that stuff down, yo. That is homeschooling. That's homeschooling for free and cheap. All those things. So I'm going to take just a second to recap just a little bit. So we have family finances. Get your family finances in order. Simplicity, not complexity, right? Use your community. Use your local community. or create events, a homeschool community group, that kind of thing for you to utilize. And then media, look at all different types of media you have around you that's free. And then remember, learning happens everywhere all the time, and homeschooling is learning through life. You guys, these are awesome tips. These are like strategies, but more it's the thinking, right? It's the thinking. You don't have to be stymied. It's not an excuse to not homeschool because you don't have the finances. You absolutely can. Trust me, it is totally possible. Can you spend a lot of money homeschooling? Yes. Homeschooling curriculums can cost upwards of $2,000 a year. I mean, so much money you can spend. And that's just the curriculum, not all the other stuff, right? So think about all of these things and how you can homeschool on a budget. And I want to see in your comments, even if you're watching this on a replay, I want to see in the comments what you utilize, how this is helping you, and what you're going to implement to, right now, what resources you're going to look for that we talked about today, or ones that we didn't, because there's lots more for sure. Okay, you guys, next week we are going to have Chris Rembold on. It's going to be our very first live recording of our first podcast episode. The podcast is going to be called Homeschool Success with Cami Wanis. I am so excited about it, you guys. It's going to launch next month officially, but we're going to record our very first episode next week on our Live with Cami on Thursday at noon Pacific time. Chris is going to be talking about his homeschool success story. You guys, he was homeschooled for K through 12, and then he went to college. He's a huge success in terms of corporate world and in terms of entrepreneurship now. He's going to be sharing with us lots of fun things. And if you ever had a doubt in your mind that homeschooling, like, I don't know if my kids are going to get what they need, I don't know if I'm going to fail them homeschooling. He homeschooled. His mama was amazing because they homeschooled when homeschooling was not, like, it was pretty rare still. He is in his late 30s. I believe he's in his late 30s, or no, I think he's in his early 40s. And trust me, back then it was not cool to homeschool. So, that is a really significant thing that he went through all that homeschooling and he came out on top. You guys, you can do it. This is exciting. You don't want to miss that event. So we're going to do that next week, Thursday at noon Pacific time. And it's going to be our very first Homeschool Success with Cami podcast episode. All right, you guys, I will talk to you next week. Have a good one, and I will see you in the replay. Bye-bye.